going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another football video. Today we're going to be doing my Premier League predictions ahead of this weekend's game. So before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. It is free to subscribe. Also, don't forget social media links there in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries. Do leave a thumbs up as well, that would be much appreciated, and do leave your thoughts as well in the comments below, including your predictions for this weekend's game. So just having a very brief look at last week and how I managed to perform on the Friday night game. Nottingham Forest taking on Spurs. I thought Forest might have done something. I went for a 1-1 draw. Goal disallowed, wasn't to be. Tottenham build on that and pick up a good win away from home. In the meantime, since then, it's seen Steve Cooper, in my opinion, harshly sacked as Nottingham Forest manager, and have hired Nuno Espirito Santo as their manager ahead of this weekend's games. Now, on Saturday, you had Bournemouth taking on Luton. I put that down as a 2-1 victory for Bournemouth. That was abandoned in the second half as Tom Lockyer had suffered cardiac arrest, and I'm very thankful to say that since then we've received nothing but positive news, and I'm hoping on the road to recovery we're going to hear nothing but positive news in terms of Tom Lockyer as well. So everyone here at the JSGC channel sending all their well wishes, of course, to Tom Lockyer and his family. You also had Chelsea taking on Sheffield United. I had that down as a solid 2-0 Chelsea win. Tick, got that one spot on. Manchester City taking on Crystal Palace. I had a 2-0 City win. I did have that down as a tick until the 75th minute, and it saw Crystal Palace mark an unlikely comeback. Kudos to them in being able to do that. Manchester City dropping more points, and further questions getting asked about, can Manchester City make history and make it 4 Premier League trophies in a row? Life looking more and more difficult week on week, and with City not playing this weekend, of course, as well, due to the Club World Cup, it does mean that the teams above them, Aston Villa, Arsenal, Liverpool, they've got the opportunity to go even further clear of Manchester City. But as we approach towards the second half of the season, you'd be foolish to rule out Manchester City at this early stage. Now, Newcastle taking on Fulham. I had that down as a 2-1 win for Newcastle. Ended up being a solid 3-0 victory for Newcastle instead. So, yeah, managed to get a correct result there rather than a correct score. And in the evening kickoff on Saturday, I had Burnley taking on Everton, where I had an Everton 2-1 victory, ended up finishing 2-0 in the end to Everton, as they continue some really good form, actually. Been playing some good stuff so far this season, Everton, even though they've had the 10-point deduction. To me, they're looking more than likely they're going to be staying in the Premier League and potentially building on that as well. They're showing form of a team in the top half of the Premier League, and Burnley's woes just continuing. Then on to the Sunday games. You had Arsenal taking on Brighton. I had that down as a 2-1 Arsenal win, finished 2-0. No surprise. I was expecting Arsenal to win that game, in particular at the Emirates Stadium as well. Brentford taking on Aston Villa. I thought Brentford may have sprung a surprise on Aston Villa. I know their form away from home isn't anywhere near as good as what it is at home. I had a 2-1 Brentford win. Brentford did lead in that game. It was a niggly game for Aston Villa, but kudos to them, digging deep, showing what it takes to be able to get them top 4 places, potentially launching a title bid as well. It's always staying around the fray there and picking up a really solid 2-1 win in West London. West Ham taking on Wolves. I thought it would be a really boring 0-0 draw. It ended up being a pretty entertaining game, 3 goals in it, all for West Ham. A solid win that for West Ham. And in the final game, probably the most disappointing game, I said it was game of the weekend. I had a 4-1 win for Liverpool. Ended up being a game of very few opportunities, finished 0-0. So yeah, Liverpool left with plenty to ponder. And to me, I think if they want to win the Premier League, this weekend's game they've got against Arsenal is a must-win game for them. So I rated my performance this week just a 2 out of 10. Hopefully we can do a little bit better for this weekend's clashes. Now, on Thursday night, kicking off the, fixtures for the weekend, you've got Crystal Palace taking on Brighton in a derby. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw for this game between Palace and Brighton. I can't really separate these two sides. So I'm going playing safe, sticking with a draw, going for a score draw, and going for a 1-1 draw. The game in the UK is being broadcast live on Sky Sports. Then you've got Friday night football as well. You've got Aston Villa taking on Sheffield United, also being streamed on Sky Sports. I'd be very surprised if Aston Villa don't continue their good form, taking on Sheffield United at home. So I'm going for a 3-0 Aston Villa win and a chance for them to go top and get all kinds of pressure onto Liverpool and to Arsenal as well. Now, on Saturday, you got the early kickoff. You got West Ham taking on Manchester United live on TNT Sports. I'm going for a 2-1 win for West Ham. Very niggly game, this one, for Manchester United. So I'm going with a West Ham win here, and following on from their victory that they had over Wolves by 3-0. I'm going for a 2-1 win for them as well. Fulham taking on Burnley. Going for a Fulham win, 2-0, solid as well. Luton taking on Newcastle. This one I was a bit unsure on. Newcastle, I think, are going to win this game. I'm going for a very niggly 2-1 win for them. It'd be interesting to see how they bounce back going out of the Carabao Cup, of course, in midweek to Chelsea on penalties. Week before that, they exited out the Champions League in 4th place, so they've got no European football. So really, they need to be focusing domestically over the next couple of months on the Premier League, try and get themselves clear of the teams below them in 6th, 7th place, and try and at least solidify themselves as potential Europa League football for next season and see if they can make a push for the top 4, which it's not going to be easy. It's going to take a fall off for Aston Villa or Manchester City to really get their cogs stuck for Newcastle to play catch up, but we will see. Manchester City were meant to be taking on Brentford. That game has been postponed. We're still not had a date put on that yet, as Manchester City have got participation in the Club World Cup and are into the final, taking on Fluminense of Brazil. Nottingham Forest, first game in charge for Santo, the new manager. I'm going for a 1-1 draw for that game at the City Ground. You've got Tottenham also taking on Everton, and this was a difficult one to predict because Everton, as I said, showing form of being a top half team, having a pretty good season considering they've had a 10-point deduction. I wouldn't rule out Everton taking something from Tottenham. They're one of the most informed teams right now, but Tottenham are just slowly starting to improve, grinding results, so I'm going for a 2-1 win at home for Tottenham. Now, moving on to the evening kickoff on Saturday, you've got Liverpool taking on Arsenal. I said this is a massive game for Liverpool, and if I'm honest, I can see Arsenal taking something from this game. I think if Arsenal win this game, it could be very difficult to stop in the second half of the season from winning the Premier League. I think if Liverpool win this game, they could also take some stopping too. So this is a huge game in the Premier League, arguably the biggest game in the Premier League so far. And I'm going to go for a score draw, and I've gone for a 2-2 draw. Liverpool need to play much better than they did against United last weekend. Arsenal are going to need to play a near-perfect game to take points from Liverpool. I think they're going to need to play the perfect game if they are to beat Liverpool at Anfield. Very difficult thing to do. Arsenal came very close to doing so last season, crumbled in the end. Can't afford to do something here. I think the winner, potentially, of this game may just be the favourites going into the second half of the season. So I'm playing it safe, going with a 2-2 draw. And then finally, we've got a game on Christmas Eve, which is the first time that I've known a game on Christmas Eve. And I think it's the first time in a very long time that there's been football on Christmas Eve here in England. And you've got Wolves taking on Chelsea at 1 p.m, game being broadcast on Sky Sports. I don't think that's fair on the Wolves fans or the Chelsea fans. Christmas Eve is very much a family day here in England, so odd. But yeah, I'm going for a 1-1 draw for this game. I don't know. I really don't know. It's, again, just some difficult games to predict. So I'm going for a 1-1 draw. All my predictions here for this game being overshadowed really by the fact that once again you're getting the demonstration that the TV companies really just couldn't care less about the fans, that at 1 p.m. on Christmas Eve there's a football match when there just doesn't need to be a football match. And that's the direction that we're going in, and going off the fact that Sky Sports have got even more games to broadcast from next season as well. I think it's 260 games. It is a ridiculous amount of games being broadcast, which means they're going to be playing games at ungodly times on ungodly days. So there we go. I don't think this will be the last time we'll be speaking about games on Christmas Eve. So there we go. They'd be my predictions. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do subscribe as well if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. Social media links, they're in the description. If you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, email also in the description too. If you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries, Also, don't forget as well, do leave a thumbs up, and I'll see you all again real soon for the next video. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.